here's a second video and what it was like to have a preemie baby. Well, my daughter was born 6 weeks old, as I said in my previous video, and she was had trouble with her lungs, where she had apnea because her lungs were not fully developed. And she was born in the beginning of May and was supposed to be born middle of June. And that was a surprise. We were not expecting it because I had just sort of finished my last day of work. I wasn't feeling very well. I thought I was going to throw up. I had to rest. I had, they threw a party for me at work and I could barely eat because I was not feeling good. And later, in the middle of the night, my water broke and we had to go to the hospital. So talk about not being prepared, because we hadn't finished our birthing classes. We didn't have a bag packed or anything. So, we were not prepared. But the labor went well. That was about the thing that I was so happy that my labor actually just went well, because my pregnancy had not gone well. And that was a surprise to me. And having a baby in the hospital for 3 weeks, it was really difficult, because all of a sudden I went from working full time to then my focus became very singular on being a mother, and work didn't matter to me. And I would get up every day, take the bus to the hospital, be there so that I could try breastfeeding her as much as possible. Because at first, she was pretty young, so she couldn't breastfeed at first. So we would try, and then they'd feed her with a tube. And then, as time progressed, she was able to do that. So my whole focus, just in an instant, it changed from being this in charge of a gymnastics club, a head coach, teaching at a high caliber, to then not caring about that at all, and just caring about my daughter's well-being and my recovery, and that's all it was. And I can remember how coworkers just didn't understand why I didn't care about that. And I thought, well, if you've never been through that, you don't understand. You don't understand what it's like to go home every night without your baby, to give birth to your baby and leave them in the hospital because they're not ready to come home. I can remember crying in her room because I had a rocking chair in her bedroom. We painted her room and got it all ready for her. And I would sit by the window and cry in the middle of the night sometimes, because that wasn't something that I expected either, that I was going to have to leave my baby in the hospital and I would have to go home empty-handed after I'd been carrying her in my belly for 9 months, right? And we didn't know that she was going to be a girl, but it turned out that she was a girl. And when she came home, she was fine. And when you see her today, she's this beautiful young woman, and you wouldn't know that she was a preemie. And she was actually quite large for a preemie. She was already over 6 pounds. So they told me that, she would have been 9 pounds if I would have carried her to term. So maybe my body just couldn't handle it, because I didn't have an easy pregnancy with her, as I said in my last video. And, she was just the right size. It was her time to come out. But these unexpected things can kind of throw you for a loop when you're a mom, because you don't know. You've never been pregnant before. There's all kinds of things that can happen that you don't even know that could happen. It's not in all the books, and you don't get told about it, which thank God, I guess, because, if we were told about all the things that could possibly happen, we probably would never have children, right? But so pregnancy is such an interesting thing, and becoming a mother is an interesting thing, because you kind of have these preconceived ideas and notions, and sometimes it just life events blow right out of the water. So that is my preemie story, and if anybody else has their own preemie stories, share them in the comments. And if you feel like you need support, please reach out.